Hello, hello. I know, Friday, not normally here, not usually doing this, but it's been a rainy afternoon. I needed to make some cards and I thought, let's do this. And I have a couple of stamp sets that I'm working with and I thought I'll share them with you. So let me know when you're here so I'm not just talking to myself. And we will get started. I got caught in the rain today and I look like I got caught in the rain, but I'm okay. It was warm. It was hot. My umbrella just went and I was, trying to get to the car from the grocery store. Alrighty. So, I think that you see me. This is what we're going to be working on tonight. Let me just see what's happening here in Facebook world. There you are. Okay, good. Hi. I kind of have to look at the computer to see what's going on. I can't always see it over on my iPad, although in theory I'm supposed to be able to. Okay. So in case you haven't really seen all the details, I've been talking about my monthly event called Inspire. Inspire is all about the goodie box. Well, this month, the month of August, we are going to be creating a sampler. And a sampler is in a 12 by 12 frame, and it has 6 or 8 or 5 little, they really look like cards. That's what ours are going to be. They're going to be a card front, but it's going to be in a 12 by 12. So instead of just having your cards go to your friends, you could actually hang your card on the wall. It's really kind of a cool idea to display your work. And you can just enjoy them. So we're going to work on that. Joanne, I think it's raining everywhere. We're going to be working on our sampler in August. And if you have not enrolled, you have until the 6th to do it. I'll make sure that I put the link up after this so that you can find it. If you're interested and you want to know more about it, comment me at the bottom. Basically, it's all about the goodie box. So in the goodie box this month, you will get this stamp set, Bouquet Blooms. You also get, let me just grab them all so that you can see them, what you're going to get. Okay, I was playing a little bit earlier. So you will get Bouquet, you don't get the bundle, you get the stamp set, because that's the cool part. Oh, and our theme is Harvest. Hi, Mary Lou. Okay, so our theme is Harvest, and you will get Painted Harvest. Now, if you already have one of the stamp sets, you can substitute. You can pick something else. Just let me know, and I will make sure that I get that for you. As you can see, Bouquet Blooms. And then, this is the cool part. You get these thinlits. These are the Stitched Labels framelits. So I did it wrong again. They're framelits. And they're really detailed and all stitched. And we're going to use these on all of our samplers. Then you get, move this out from under it, you get this 12 by 12 frame so that you don't have to worry about where you're going to put this. You will then get half a pack, but not cut, of Nature's, what is it? Nature's Poem. I knew it was Nature's. I was just playing with some to see how I liked them together, but you get to see, these are ones I've cut, but you won't get yours cut. You'll get a full sheet. Okay. Now, you might think, well, why don't you just show it to us? Because I want it to be a surprise. I want it to be like, whoa, when you open the box, you're super excited, and you don't know everything that's going to be in there. So I tell you enough so that you know it's going to be fun. The price for August is a little higher than the others because we have the frame. It is, oh, and so it's a bigger box. So our shipping is $17 for August. Goodness, we could have the little post office guy come and make it for us. It's $17 because it's the huge flat rate. And so the total is $115. That includes your shipping, tax, everything. It's just $115 total. And you get alive in our Zoom classroom class with me starting at 9 in the morning on Saturday the 25th of August through however long it takes us. It's usually around noon until we get done. We're also making the tall narrow cards. So our cards that we use, our designs that we use to decorate our sampler will also be translated into the tall narrow cards. Okay? And you'll have 10 of those with envelopes. And then there'll be some fun other crafty items. Yeah, it's really fun when you get it. You don't want to know everything. There's always a little something that's a surprise. Okay? So that's Inspire, and you have until the 6th to register. But the reason that I'm using beautiful or bouquet blooms is I was practicing with the stamp set, and I thought, oh, it'll be fun. We'll use that tonight, and we'll see how it goes. All right? So we're not doing anything that's going to be in Inspire, but we're using the same stamp set. This also comes in a bundle, although it's not in a bundle in Inspire. Now, here's an example. Because it's me, it's not being mass-produced, it's not like some big giant warehouse. If you look at this and think, well, you know what, I would really love the bundle. No, Kathy, you weren't. I would really love the bundle, but it's not included. You can email me and say, I wish I had the bundle for this. I'll add it and charge you just the difference between the stamp set and the bundle. No additional shipping or anything else because I can just tuck it in there. If I also list all the stamp sets that are the inks that I'll be using, and question, I completely lost where I was going. Oh, if you decide that you don't have the inks and you want to add them, you always can. And again, same thing. I'll just charge you for the inks, but not for the shipping to get them to you. Okay? Whoops, I got that crooked. I don't like that. Okay, there's that. All right. So enough about Inspire. Let's talk about tonight. Tonight I'm using the Tropical Escape. Susan, notice I kept the paper so I would know what it's called. I never remember what the names of these are. Tropical Escape. And I want to remind you that if you look on here, it tells you the colors of your inks that you're going to want to use or that go with it. Now, if you threw this paper away, you can always find it in the catalog. Basic Black, Blushing Bride, Granny Apple Green, Shaded Spruce, Whisper White. Those are the ones that match the picture, the colors that are used in this designer series paper. You don't have to use them, but it lets you know, okay? We're using that. We're using some Whisper White. And I want you to see what I did over here to show you why I don't like it. I decided to keep it so that I would point out what I don't like about it. I was trying to layer. If you notice, the Bouquet Blooms has this great wreath. You know the ones that you buy at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, the straw wreath, and you wrap them? Well, that's what this is supposed to be, your wreath. And then you're going to build your flowers on top of it. So I thought, well, let's just try stamping it. Didn't like it. So we won't be doing it that way. But I wanted you to see so that you don't do the same thing. Now, I think I could do it. This was done in soft suede, too dark. I'm going to try it with Sahara Sand, and we'll see what that looks like. Same idea. And you're thinking, well, how are you going to do that exactly the same? Well, the cool thing is, I used my Stamparatus, so I can do exactly the same card again. So here is, let me move all my inks, because I just have a ton of inks out tonight, which I also have a rack in front of me, but you know, I pulled a bunch out, so I know. All right, so this Stamparatus is all set up for this card. I popped this right in the corner. And as you can see, that's how it went down with that one. And then this one went that way. All right? I have to tell you a little secret though. The Stamparatus comes with this cool piece of foam, right? And it's supposed to work for the photopolymer stamp sets as well as the red clear mount ones. one of the problems that you have is if your stamp set is near the edge like this, then it doesn't always stamp quite as well as you'd like it to. So you need to put a little shim, a little something to boost it up in the corner ever so much. Stamp and Storage, which is one of my other favorite companies, they're the ones that make, see if I can do it without making us super dizzy, make these really cool storage units over there, the wooden ones. Okay, Stamp and Storage makes those. They also make the magnet sheets that I use to keep my framelits and thinlits on. Stamp and Storage does that. In addition, they made this cute little thing that goes under your foam pad. It's a magnet. They cut it to size, and it fits right in here and attaches to the magnet. So it gives you just that little shim. So if you don't have one of these, you could use a small piece of chipboard that comes in the back of your paper. You could use a couple of sheets of chipboard of cardstock under there. Just a little something, okay? Actually, let me show you the difference so that you can see what happens and why you might need that. So let's put this in here, right up against the corner. And the reason you like to use, or I like to use the corner, is if I'm going to mass produce these, I want to make sure that I'm positioning this in exactly the same spot. So the corner is really helpful for that, right? Okay, so I took out the shim. I'm going to use my Sahara Suede, Sahara Sand, no suede involved. And I'm going to ink this up. I bet this one won't show as dramatically. And I'm going to bring it over. And now I'm really pressing all the way around. And see, I don't get a good image. I get this kind of blotchy looking, and you're thinking, wait a minute. You told me the Stamparatus was the be-all and the end-all, and I'm not liking that. Let me show you what you can do so that doesn't happen. Here's my little shim, and I'm going to slide that right underneath. Make sure I'm still lined up. It's a little risky. And we're going to ink you again. Trying not to wiggle the camera this time. Okay. And then I'm going to bring this over. Much better, right? So let's try it with a clean piece that we haven't moved 3 times. Make sure that we've got everything where we want it. And I want a piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to trim it down because I'm using my Love It, Chop It measurements. So I'm using my 8.5 by 11. I have my 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Designer Series paper, 3 3/4 by 5 piece of white. Yes, I'm using the shim right here, which is just a magnet. This is from Stamp and Storage, but you could use just a couple of sheets of cardstock if you want. Pop that right in, or even a little piece of chipboard that came in the bottom of your paper. Slide that in. Take my piece of Whisper White, tuck it in the corner. And now I'm going to ink this up. So I don't usually test it to prove that it doesn't work. Janet, you don't need it for all of them. And you only need it if you're placing it in this corner along the edge. If you bring it over to the middle, it's not an issue at all. It's only if you're over on the edge. But I wanted to show you because you wouldn't necessarily know that, and then you might have a not perfect one. See? Perfect. Right? But if you put the shim in, it's easy. It's not a big deal. So let's say you don't have this crazy little magnet that I ordered from, I can't remember the price, but it was so inexpensive, it was crazy. The corners, if you're using the photopolymer. Now, if you're using the red rubber one, not an issue at all. Okay? So, here's another way to work with it. Well, let's go through a couple of options so that you can see the difference. So I'm happy with this. Let's move this over. Let's take another one and let's put it in the middle. No shim. Okay, no shim. It's out in the middle. I'm gonna flip you over because I don't want to move that around. And let's take this flower. Okay. Let me wipe this off. I'm going to end up with ink all over me. I'm using my chamois. Remember, I keep it in an empty stamp case, and it's wet, and it stays wet. Works out great. Okay, pick you up. Let's move you over a little bit so you can see better. And let's use an ink that you can actually see. We'll use Lemon Lime Twist. With stamp and storage, Susan? Okay, so there's that, right? No problem at all. See it? Becky, I don't know, but as you've noticed, all the stamping platforms have the same issue along the edge. It's not specific to this one. They all have that same problem. It's because of the way the hinge affects it. So, a couple of different things, and it's only with the photopolymers. It's not with the red rubber. But the reason I'm telling you all of this, I could just keep smiling boldly and say, nope, doesn't do that. It does. Only when you're over in the edge. Now, I could have used that card in the middle and never told you this, and then it happened to you and you wouldn't understand what you were doing wrong. I want you to know that you're not doing anything wrong. It's just the mechanics. Because of the way the hinge is, you can't get as much pressure right here as you can out here. So, to solve that problem, either put your card in the middle and no problem at all, or create a little shim for yourself and just pop it underneath. It is, let me see how many sheets of cardstock it would be if I were going to just use cardstock. Let me grab a little bit of Whisper White and see, because you could make one yourself. It looks like maybe 6 pieces of cardstock, maybe 5 would do it. But as you can see, it completely depends on position. If it's in the middle, not a problem at all. If it's on the edge, you're going to want your shim. Now, can I use the shim anytime? Watch. And I honestly think what happens is this foam, the more we use it, the more it flattens. I really do think that's what's causing it, because I didn't seem to think it was an issue. I have no problem at all in the middle. But that's the way I got this, because now I don't have to worry about it. I can just leave that there. So let's say I'm using this. This wasn't all about Stamparatus tonight, but now it is. Let's say I'm using that, right? And I'm using the red rubber one. Let me grab a stamp set that's red rubber. Clearly I don't have any out here. Let's grab a Blended Seasons. And let's use, okay, we're using our leaves. And we're going to put this one whoops, we need a piece of paper down. Let's put that one over on the edge, right? And let's pick that up. Perfect. Let's take our shim out. So this is a science experiment. This is no shim red rubber in the corner. No problem at all. Okay? So that's the consideration that you have to think about. The red rubber one, it doesn't matter. You can put it anywhere you want, no problem, no question, no shim, everything works great. When you're using the photopolymer, either put it in the middle or use a shim. Okay? All right, cool. Let's go back to what we were planning to do, which was make this card. But I really wanted to show you that because I feel like I think the Stamparatus is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love it. I think it makes my stamping so much easier. Right, the red rubber ones are thicker. And they come with their own foam already. I mean, you can see the difference in the stamp set if you just look down. Let me bring this over so you can see it. The photopolymer is barely a space. If I go like that, maybe you can see, yeah. You can see how much thicker the red rubber one is. Okay? So that's how you know what you need to use. All right? Get you off of here. You over there. Now, back to the one I pre-cut. Where'd you go? I probably used it already. So let me trim another one down. Remember, you want to make sure your magnets stay away from each other. If you get them too close, they will snap. All of these, or could, I shouldn't say will, could snap. They are super, super strong. They have a fancy name. But again, that's the case with all of those magnets. It's not like it's a Stampin' Up! Issue. If you're using this super duper colossal magnet, it runs the risk of attracting so strong, and they're thin, it could pop. Okay. Let's turn you around. Now we're back to, and see, now if I hadn't put this in the middle, I would have to line it all up again. But because I put it in the middle, I know that when I come back, position this, my stamps are going to be in the right place. This is great for making multiples of the same card because everything is already set up for you, so you don't have to worry about it. So if you were going to make invitations or birthday cards or maybe even baby announcements, you would want, no, I don't have any baby announcements to make, but I know some people do. This would work really well for you. Okay, so Sahara Sand. I'm going to try that for our wreath this time. Now I have my shim in there, and I am in the corner, so, or I should say I'm in the corner, so I have my shim. Oh, I already did this once. Goodness, I'm doing it again. That's all right. Good practice. Right? Christmas cards? Absolutely. So there's that, and you can see the first time it was right because I had the shim. I was able to give it pressure like I wanted. I'm going to do this guy and see how this looks. Now you might still see the wreath through it, but I can live with it. Because again, I'm not using a really dark ink. I'm using Lemon Lime Twist. But what I'm actually using this for is to give me positioning on where to put my other flowers. So now I'm done with this. I'm still going to keep my shim in there though. And I'm going to put you right here. And I'm just going to put this away for a minute till we get back to it. And this time I'm just going to use my blocks. But in my case I have to put this down because I don't have a smooth surface. So this is my stamping surface. Remember, if you're using photopolymer stamps, the skinny ones, oh, thanks, Becky. $8.95 for the magnet pad. Cheap enough. Add it on to an order because you're going to pay shipping and all of that. I think the magnet cards are still on sale. No, it's Stamp and Storage. I have a feeling Stampin' Up! May add something. They have not done it yet, though. But remember, if you're going to be using the photopolymers, you're going to want to use some sort of a foam to get a better stamp. That's just the way it is when you're using them, and we just saw how different the thickness between them is, and that this already has the foam built in. The photopolymers don't. They let you see through them, but you kind of need to give it a little cushion. I use my piercing pad. It works great. And we're just going to stamp some flowers. And I have an assortment of colors. Right, Susan? I know, I saw those. Yeah, if you're just coming on in, I'd love to have you share us. And tell your friends. Hashtag Let's Make a Card is really fun. Especially when I don't have it completely planned out ahead of time. I don't want you again. Oh, I want some Grapefruit Grove. Apparently I don't know my own strength, or I'm really weak tonight. Ooh, icky. Much better. And let's do this little one. And what's cool about these is I have all the coordinating thinlits that go with it. So I can punch these out. Now, remember, I said this is coming in Inspire, but it's not coming with the thinlits. So if you want those, just let me know and we'll add them on. I seriously forgot what colors I was working with, but it's okay. You're gonna get the gist of what I wanted. So what my plan is to punch these out and we'll layer them on top of this, right? So now we have, I have these all figured out before. Yeah, you go with this one, like so, right? And you notice there is a little notch right here on the thinlet. If you look, it coordinates with the stamp. See where the stamp is and the little notch? So if you just remember where you did it, when you line it up, it's super easy. And then you can make sure that it works correctly every time. So here's the little notch on this one. So it's going to go like that, and then I line them right up. I'm not going crazy. Well, I could still do that. But let's go. Clearly I have something stuck to the bottom of you. There you are. Let's move you over. Sorry, we're getting later. I spent more time talking about Stamparatus than I had planned, but that's okay. I don't mind, but I usually try and get done in a half an hour so that you're not here with me for the whole night. Unless you want to be. And one thing I notice is sometimes you have a little bit of sticky on the back of these from where they were attached to the paper. It's a little harder to coordinate a whole bunch of them at once, but we're going to. I'm also using my magnetic, all about magnets tonight, my magnetic platform with my Big Shot. Okay. So now this is going to go down on this, right? And then you are going to go on here and pop up. And the more flowers I add, the better it looks. Now what if I said, well, you know what, I really like that, but I don't like that it doesn't show through. I don't like the way the wreath is showing through. I could have done some masking. But I can also do this. I can stamp that flower and cut it out. So I can do the whole, come back, Mr. Stamparatus, where are you? So instead of stamping it on top of there, I can just stamp it directly and then cut it out. Pop you back in here. And I'm going to do this one out of my Blushing Bride. Love it. Now, Mr. Big Shot. So as you can see, this is a really cool bundle. You can see, I bet you can tell why I picked it. So much variety, so many options. I could have done this out of the Sahara Sand, and I could have used my colored pencils and colored these all in. The Sahara Sand would have been really light and wouldn't really show, and it would look kind of cool. And then color in my flowers so I could get different colors. I could mask different parts of it. P.S. we might do that in Inspire. Sneak peek a little. Okay, so there's that. So now I like this better already. This goes here. And then I'm going to add my flowers to it. So let's stick you down because we're going to just start building on it. Before I do it though, I'm going to put my sentiment down. And I'm going to use thanks because I like that font. So I'm just going to do thanks right down here. And use my lemon lime twist. Alright, now I can attach it. Remember, we don't really like the way those green flowers look, so don't get carried away. They're going to be this one. some dimensionals, of course. Right. Everybody have big plans this weekend? I hope it stays dry, whatever it is that you're trying to do. I think Sunday is going to be nice here. I think it's still raining tomorrow. We've had crazy amounts of rain, but for a while we didn't have any, and things seemed really dry. Okay. So that goes like so, right? And then let's bring this guy in. And let's just pop that under there. And then our pink one. So you can see that they're not exactly the same, although they coordinate. Oh, nice. It sounds like you guys have a lot going on. And I'm going to put this one on top. Right? And I have one more somewhere. Oh, this guy. So you can see how adding more color would really make this pop. I could take a ribbon and go through and around if I wanted to do that before I put this down. So lots and lots of choices, but I want you to see how, yes, you can just stamp it, or you can start to build and build it up. Simple, using just our Whisper White and our inks, or you can get carried away. You could cut, you can punch these guys, you can stamp and punch out of different colors. I love the tone on tone of doing this ink on Grapefruit Grove cardstock. That looks really cool. A little bit of Wink of Stella adds just enough to the top. Right? You could do this kind of thing and let it pop up a little bit. So lots of different ideas to work with this one. I like this stamp set. And I can see where it could, depending on the colors, you can change your holiday or your season. A bow on the wreath would be great. Yep. I was just looking to see. I don't have a bow. I do have leaves, though, that we could do more of. So lots more to do. Just getting started. And I want to remind you, hold on, let me get these out of here. They make me crazy. I just found some in my bedroom, which is on the total other end of the house. Maybe we should do a contest. The craziest place you find the backing of a dimensional. Right? Where do you find the backings to your dimensionals? I'll post that on our group, and we'll let people come up with the funniest place. Or the most inopportune. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. And I'm glad we spent some time in the Stamparatus. If you have any questions or you're not sure, please ask. If you have any questions about Inspire and you want to know more about it, just write "me too" down here, or tell me about Inspire, and I'll come back and answer questions later tonight. Have a great night, everybody. See you soon. Remember, we're back on Monday for our normal Let's Make a Card. Bye.